Okay. Are we all set on YouTube?
Yeah, but we are all good to go.
Okay, sounds good. So then it is 6:03, and I will call this meeting of the Executive Committee to order. We have just one real piece of business today, if I am not mistaken, and that is assigning trustees to the committees of our board. So at the top of everybody's inboxes, I just sent a Google Sheet that we'll work off of today. It contains all the responses that the trustees gave to the questionnaire about committee interest, and we got 100% response, which is awesome. So thank you, all of you. And the other sheet in that Google Doc is a sheet that we can use to fill in as we assign people to committees. So I'll share my screen so that it's up on the screen. Sec. Okay. So what you're looking at is the responses that every trustee gave. I highlighted all the 5s in red and all the 4s in pink just for the visual of it. And we got a pretty good mix. And then over here, I created this little thing to fill in as we assign people. So I found in past years that the hardest part is getting started. So, please chime in whenever, as we go. I think we kind of have to do it have to go over it a couple of times to make sure we didn't miss anything. But I would suggest that the place to start is with the chair of the finance committee. Our bylaws require that the vice president for finance is the chair of the finance committee. So we can go ahead and fill Sarah in as the chair. So
I have one question and another comment. So I'm looking, you said in Google Docs, you have, what sheet do you have in Google Docs?
So the sheet that I'm sharing on my screen, I also shared with all of you in an email.
I got that one, but you said that there was another one that you had in Google Docs, no?
Oh, so it's one link, and then see at the bottom here, one says committee interest, and then the other tabs says committee assignment.
Gotcha. Okay, so that was that part. I had just a suggestion in reference to just committees just in general. My personal opinion about it, that it's very important for us to continue to move forward. I think previously all the committees have done a lot of work, and I think it would be beneficial for some of us to remain in some of the committees that we've previously were in, so we're not like starting over every year when we get new committees. We're just shaking everything all the way up, and it's like restarting all over, or the progress all over again. So my only suggestion would be just for us to, of course, go through and fill in the mandatories, like the finance, she has to be the chair for finance, but just maybe going through and seeing which ones we are preferring to stay with, and then filling in from there.
Okay, sure. Sure. Actually, the next thing I was going to say is that Arlene is the only person who put a 5 down for the Upper Hudson position in this column, and she's done that in past years, and I know she really wants to keep doing it, and I think she does a good job at it. And it's a huge service to the board because that's a big commitment. So is everybody okay with keeping Arlene in that position? I see heads nodding. and thumbs
Yes.
up.
Yes,
I am.
All right. So let's
Yes,
throw
I was-
Arlene there.
I was muted, so yes.
No worries. Okay. So now I think we can do whatever we want. We can try to fill it committee by committee, or
So can we go? Go ahead, Bridget.
No, I was gonna say the same thing. I think let's just go committee by committee. That way we
Okay.
won't miss anything.
okay, well, let's stick with finance then for the moment. So I put a 5 and Jare and Paige put 4. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Tom, don't you sit on all of the committees?
No.
So, no, all right.
No, I'm just like any other trustee. I sit on 1 or 2. And then I also sit on the Friends and Foundation board as an ex officio member.
Well, I would appreciate if you could be on the finance committee to show me the ropes.
Yeah, so to Jare's point, I was the chair last year. I like the work and I'd be happy to keep doing it if you all would like.
Yes, makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. This is just a first draft. We might find that like we have to move people around once we get a bunch in position so that
And I-
everybody's.
And I think if we could throw Paige in there, because we want new people to become very familiar with the workings of this particular committee.
So so I would just say my thoughts are just in reference to the structure, like there's some must-haves that we have to have, right? So each one of us is going to have to be a chair of a particular committee, correct? Because we're the essentially veteran members at this point, right? So my thoughts were, why not just fill that in first and then go down the line in reference to, 5s and 4s or what have you, because some stuff just has to be like one of us has to be the chair of each one of these committees. And there's only going to be 3 people per committee,
Yeah, there's,
yeah, just
Yeah.
because we have solids, so that have to stay, that are going to have to be there. So why not do the hard lines first, the mandatories first, and then fill in where we need people?
yeah, okay. That actually sounds smart.
And just a
Um,
reminder that the strategic plan is not a board or not a
A committee, yeah.
a
like
regular committee. It's a separate, it's a ad hoc.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a standing committee.
Yep. So we'll just work on finance, P&G, personnel, nominating, and facilities for right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those
So-
5 for right now are the main things. So if we could just maybe go down the line and do like who's going to be the chair, basically, of each committee, maybe.
Jare, would you be chair of the personnel committee?
I wasn't on personnel last year. I would honestly prefer to do P&G since I had experience in P&G last year. So, I would want a person to be on P&G if there was a hard one that I had to be a chair on. Who was on personnel last year?
She
That's
like
here
Jen-
now.
wasn't. No.
I was on personnel, and the other people on it were Sarah Shear and Jenna Patera.
Okay, so they're both gone. So the only person who was here would be Tom. So my thoughts were to have a member who was previously here, a veteran member on each committee, so that we don't have new people, just one isolated committee with just all new members, you know? So that
Well,
at least with one
Could I
experience.
make a suggestion?
Uh-huh.
So I think if we're going in that route, it would be finance, Sarah, personnel, Tom, P&G, Jare, Arlene nominating, and Brigitte facilities. Because that puts one of the 5
Yes,
past members that have served on the committees on each of those committees.
yes, that was what I was trying to express. So yeah. What are you guys thinking about that? And just because those are, at least we have one per committee, we can just go ahead and fill those in.
do you still have to be nominated to be a chair in the committee?
No, the
You just-
executive committee assigns the chair.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
Oh, I thought I was okay. All right.
And
What are you
and to-
thinking, Bridget?
No, I thought that last year I was nominated, but I guess that was for the ad hoc one. So
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
And then-
Okay.
Tom,
Melanie,
you didn't give personnel a 5. Are you okay with chairing personnel?
well, I was just going to say, normally the board president doesn't chair any other committees, right? Like I chair this committee.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, even if you're on the committee, just being on the
Yeah.
committee, even if you're not the chair.
Yeah, I'd be fine serving on it. I just want to make that point clear.
Mm-hmm.
But sure, let's fill in those names that Melanie just read out and see how it looks.
So for finance, Sarah is going to be the chair, right?
Yeah.
And then personnel, Tom is going to be on the committee. We have yet to elect the chair.
I would say, based on, well, her answer is right there, Andrea, but I know Andrea used to be AHA's personnel director as well as the city.
Mhm.
And then now she is the school district's personnel director. So I know she has a lot of experience with HR.
So do we think it would be a good idea, Bridget, to throw her in right now for the chair of the personnel?
I think so.
Okay. What are you guys thinking? Does that sound good?
I think so too. Yes, I know she's really interested in doing it, and I think her experience is spot on.
After speaking with her, when I did the onboarding with her, I think she would be definitely qualified to take that role because of her past experiences and her current position.
And not to be nitpicking, but Tom, if you would just change that E, the first E to an I.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem. Great.
And change Arlene. We gave her more letters than in her name.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Is that I can't help you.
And so we didn't really ask you, Bridget, like, do you want to keep chairing facilities? Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So, all right. I think this is a really good start. So now we just have to place 8 more spots.
Well, you could put me in P&G as a member.
Okay. And then, so for facilities, 3 other people put a 5, and there's only 2 spots. So maybe we can break.
I was going to say Lynette and Sarah.
I was gonna say, maybe we can hold that until the end, and we can maybe break the tie by just like by default, like seeing who needs a committee later. Like Lynette, probably makes sense to put Lynette on facilities because it was the highest rank she gave any.
Right.
I was just about to say, yeah, I was just about to say, looking at the 5, Sarah has 5s in other columns, so I think
Yeah.
it might be fair to give Lynette the facilities and give Sarah maybe personnel.
Sorry, spelling.
Do you think we're okay with
Yeah. One more for finance.
for finance?
How about Paige?
I'm actually gonna copy this over to this sheet, and that way I don't have to keep switching back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we can see it all on one page.
Yeah. Page for Jare also had a 4 too for finance.
And who do we have on personnel again? So Andrea, Tom. So what about me, finance, and Paige has a 5 in personnel.
Right.
He has a 5 in personnel, facilities, and strategic plan. Well, strategic, we're not even doing that right now. Okay. Facilities. Was facilities done? Who was it? So facilities was Bridget, Lynette.
And I said Sarah, but someone was saying to break the tie because it's 2 other people to see where they fit. Like
Will be Paige and Sarah is the two others.
right.
Okay, so I'm noticing that for
You need to know.
nominating, I'm the only person who put 5 other than Arlene, but since I'm doing finance and personnel, I don't think I'll serve on the nominating.
Well, Sarah is number 4.
Yeah. So I think we can put Sarah in there.
And then what if we put Paige on facilities and put Sarah in nominating?
Sarah isn't yet nominating.
Yeah, so we'll put Sarah in nominating and Paige on facilities. I think that makes sense.
How do you guys feel about that? Everybody else?
Yeah, she also has a 5 in personnel and 4 in finance. So she should be on personnel.
Jare, you want to do finance, right?
But my Jare,
Oh, yeah.
you're most welcome to be on this, but it'd be nice to have a new trustee on each of the committees, because as we go off the
I thought we
board,
already went okay, so I thought we already went into that Paige was going to be finance.
Okay,
you
yeah,
and
sorry, I
Tom are
missed
on
that.
finance. No?
Yeah.
No,
All right, so
That
I
makes
thought for
sense,
finance
yeah.
was going to be Sarah the chair, and then it's going to be Tom and Paige, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
I think-
so the finance is done. Let's cross it off.
all right,
Done.
perfect.
All right. So what's the other committee we had done? Facilities, right? We're done. Cross it off.
Well,
No?
for now.
All right,
I
so
just
we
want to
got
make sure that we're keeping everybody equal and not putting too many people on too many committees.
yes,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Yep. Absolutely.
So I think P&G, I think Andrea would be a good, because she had that as a 4.
Yeah, that was her second highest. And she made a note in the questionnaire that her experience would be good for that committee.
So we had, okay, so for those two, right? So for we put Andrea, she had a 5 in personnel, so we put her on personnel. And Lynette had a 5 in facilities, so we put her on facilities. So it's kind of like a tie for P&G, for Lynette or for Andrea, because they both have 4s for P&G, right?
Yes. I would say that Andrea didn't have, like, Andrea only put 5 and 4 for those 2 committees, but then Lynette has 4s in other committees that she could fit onto too.
So but only personnel. So
I think-
So put Lynette on personnel because Andrea has the caveat that she had more experience in P&G, what she brings to the table, as well as personnel. So Lynette can be on personnel.
So okay, so Lynette on personnel and Andrea on P&G, you're saying?
Yeah. Yes.
And then that just leaves one more for nominating, and that should be
Okay, so one question about that though, right? Because we did, so Andrea's 5 was in personnel. Lynette's
Right.
5 was in facilities. So we gave Lynette facilities,
mhm.
but then Andrea's 5, shouldn't everybody at least get like 1 5 if possible? For
Yeah,
what they want to be on?
we have, if you can see here on the screen share, Andrea, we gave Andrea personnel. We're thinking the chair of personnel should be Andrea.
Yes. Okay, so then we were putting Lynette on P&G.
Mm-hmm. And
No.
we're putting her, no, we're putting Lynette on personnel with Andrea.
And then Lynette's already on facilities. Is that her number 5? Yeah.
So right now, Lynette has 2, Andrea has 2, Paige has 2,
Sarah's the only
McKee
has 1. But I think she would be good on strategic plan.
Uh-huh.
And that would be her
But
too.
strategic plan isn't, that's an ad hoc, so we're not doing strategic plan out there right now.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
it's
like, yeah, because that committee might only do like half the year and then finish its job. So
Yeah, so I thought we're just gonna focus on the 5 right now and then go into the strategic plan after.
yeah, I agree.
Okay.
And then, so I have 2 plus executive committee. Brigitte has 2 plus executive committee. Jare has 1, and Sarah Dallas has 1 plus executive. And so I would say,
I mean, I wanted personnel and finance, but those are both done. So I guess it would be what, nominating committee? Nominate,
Yeah,
I would be on nominating or facilities, basically, right?
No, not necessarily. This is just a draft. So if you want personnel, you put you on personnel and
yeah,
Lynette.
move people around if needed.
No, I mean, I think that's, my thing is, let's be as efficient as we can. I'm not gonna nitpick, you know what I mean? So I think that we've got a good draft so far. We don't wanna, if we move one, then we're kind of like we're doing everything else. So let's stick with what we got. I'm not gonna, nitpick.
so Jare, I have a question because you have 3 separate committees listed as 5. So which out of those 3 would be your?
So we're not doing strategic plan right now. So I'm already on P&G as the chair, so I'm okay with going. The only other options are facilities or nominating right now. So I'm okay filling in on either one of those after we give the 5s to whoever else needs them. We want people to definitely have at least one of their interests. So we can skip me for now because I'm okay with going to either or. And let somebody else get some 5s in there. Whoever, let me see. Arlene has a 5. And we already did that 5. Paige
I think everybody got a 5.
Yeah, so let me see. Who do we have on? See, that one's done. So nominating.
Yeah,
I guess, well, Arlene's on there. So
Sarah
And then
Masinski
who else
didn't
is
get
left? Sarah
any,
Mizinski, yeah.
she didn't get any fives. So yet, except for maybe strategic plan, but she's probably the only one that didn't get a 5.
Mm-hmm. What if we switch?
But she did get her number 4.
Yeah.
Well, okay, wait, hold on.
So you might could switch her with Lynette for personnel.
I think that's what I was thinking too, is putting Sarah on personnel.
Right.
Because you have Andrea, Tom, and
And Lynette got her 5 on facilities, so.
And you could put Lynette, yeah.
That's true. Okay. And then should we bump Lynette to nominating?
Yeah,
that's fine. Put Lynette, yeah, put her in nominating. And put Sarah there. Sarah M. But Sarah Dallas, you need another one too, right? Okay, so if it says, all right.
so my thought would be putting Jarre, Sarah Dallas, and
strategic plan.
you're right.
Well, Arlene put a 5 for strategic. Well, a lot of people put 5s for strategic plan.
Now, don't forget, all of you guys will also have a say in the strategic plan, because the strategic plan, this is just coordination of meetings and such.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but just for the, committees involved, I think that would make sense. And then put strategic plan on Sarah, Dallas, me, and who else would be?
Arlene.
But she's on the upper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it probably be. We should probably have one of the new trustees on the strategic plan too.
Who got less of their 5s?
Now, is Paige the city planner?
Yes,
Yes.
because Sarah's the infectious disease.
Yeah.
Andrea's the HR, and Lynette is the teacher.
She does. I think she does. I'm not even gonna.
Yeah, so Paige does do city planning. So she might be good to have on the strategic planning.
But
Which
we have
committees?
finance.
Which committees take a lot of time? I know that P&G takes a great deal of time. That's
Yes.
like every month. So that's a heavy lift. What other committees don't meet as often?
Say nominating meets the least.
Yeah. And then I think personnel would be after that.
Yeah, personnel. I mean, we did meet a lot last year though. So it depends, really depends what you want to do with it. Like, Jenna was really pushing the civil service changes and stuff, and that does take time. I mean, Jared, you're only on P&G right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, we can put your name in there just to see what it looks like. And if needed, but you'd be good there.
Were we putting Lynette there? Who were we putting there?
Either. Yeah, just one of the new trustees. I don't know which one. I mean, two of them put it as a 5.
Because, okay, so if we have already on finance is a lot. Would you say that finance? I would kind of say that finance is a.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's a lot for like part of the year, and then it's not too hard for the other half of the year.
And actually,
'Cause she's on-
strategic plan is gonna be done before finance picks up, so that might be.
So
we're
that would
hoping to have
mean Sarah, because she doesn't have a Sarah Dallas. I mean, what do you think, Sarah? Because you only have one. You're just you're the chair for finance. So what are you thinking? What are your thoughts?
To be perfectly honest with you, I am now sitting on the executive board of the American Library Association. Which means I'm going to be pulled in about 47,000 different directions. I'm no longer on the executive board of the Freedom to Read, so that gives me a little bit of time. But I have a really busy, everybody's busy, I know. If you need me on strategic plan, I'd be happy to. I just can't chair another committee.
So since nominating doesn't mean that much, why not just put Lynette or Sarah on there, or Arlene? I mean, they don't. Nominating is the one that meets the least, so we can at least pick one person from that committee to go on strategic plan.
Yeah,
I really love Arlene's vision for the library. And I always learn when Arlene speaks, and I think she would be fabulous on the strategic plan.
I would agree. She's also been through the planning process before, so she would be a really good asset to have.
Yeah.
So do we want to do Arlene and Sarah M, or, I mean, because this is the committee that we want to have a new person, so that's one of the lightest loads for that committee. Do we want to pick another new person from that committee?
Yeah. I think
Paige would be really good for this. And like I said, I think it would balance with the finance because we should be done with most of the strategic plan stuff before finance picks up.
that would be okay with me. I think I don't feel strongly that about any of them, or like I think they would all do a fine job.
Yeah.
Okay, how's everybody else feeling about that?
I think she'd be fabulous.
Yes.
Okay. Unanimous.
I just congratulate you. This is difficult.
All right.
work.
Did we get it done?
So
Let's
do-
over it.
do we? Yeah. Let's take our time and look over it and just look for anything that might look weird now that we've got it all written out. And I also wanted to ask Melanie, I don't remember, do we need to vote as a committee and approve the setup?
I don't think so, because if I'm not mistaken, when we bring this to the full board, there's gonna probably be some more shifting around.
You
Potentially.
think so?
I mean, has been in the past. I think this is a really well thought out group, and I think we took everybody's preferences into consideration, and I think strengths and weaknesses were taken into consideration as well. So I don't think there will be, but I think that's why it's usually not. This is suggested by the executive committee, and then it's brought to the board, and then has the ability to shift some more, and then because I don't think we have to vote on who's on these committees. We just select, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me. I'm
looking at board docs.
Yeah, me too.
Does anybody foresee any problems with any of the picks that we have thus far?
No.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
Does the full board watch this recording before the meeting? Because there's been so much helpful like logic behind all of these nominations. I'm just wondering if they watch this before the meeting.
I think they have the option.
They have the
Yeah.
option to, but it's up to them to.
Yeah, it'll be on YouTube. Typically, like, I mean, for myself, I typically don't watch other committees' meetings, but they certainly could.
Thanks. This is a fascinating process.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
looked, so the August meeting last year, it was under new business and it was committee assignments and it was just an informational item. It was not voted on. So these don't have to be voted on.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if we voted on it in committee, though.
I looked at the meeting for the executive committee from last year around this time and it's same thing.
Okay.
It was, I didn't actually even see it.
I think there needs to be another ad hoc committee. I hate to say this, but I think the bylaws need to be reviewed.
Would that be done in policy and governance? Because it's part of, under their purview. That's what my thought was.
Oh, okay. Just as long as it's not forgotten.
No, it's on my top of the list. I got bylaws first and then a new material selection policy need to be updated.
Thank you. Thank you, Melanie.
That session, my staff is itching because they all went to that session 2 weeks ago. And it was a fabulous session. So,
What, Cole's session
yeah.
with the template?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's going to be fabulous.
I think the only other committee we might need to have, and I don't think they had more than one meeting last go around, is if we have any for negotiations, contract negotiations. It's usually just brought to the committee if they have any, there's any board concerns to be added to contract negotiations, and then we bring it to the full board once it's fully negotiated. I could be mistaken on that.
Personnel?
That
wouldn't
might be personnel. Yeah, that would probably be personnel. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought contract.
What was I going to say? I don't know it. So the strategic plan, what is your vision of what the strategic plan will be doing with the board part of the strategic plan?
I think just being like the liaison for Mary Ellen, like her direct point of contact when she has questions about scheduling and, you know, the programming and planning the board retreat will be on that committee's agenda. So stuff like that.
It's a little bit of that, and it's also a little bit of initial thoughts and pulling together the format of the strategic plan. And then once we get into the nitty gritty of the tactics, that goes back to staff for handling.
And the other thing I just wanted to say is that I didn't write the strategic plan people in any order. I think like last year, they just elected their own chair. I think they should do that again. When you guys meet, you can just nominate one of yourselves as the chair.
I think it would be smart, since Arlene was on it before, for her to be the chair of strategic plan, since she would be the veteran, and then also for her to be the chair of the nominating committee as well, since she's the veteran for those two.
Yeah, those go well together too. Okay, well, I'm really happy with this, guys.
About that, though, as far as her being the chair, is that okay with everybody else to write her in as the?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
You want to switch her name on the strategic plan one?
I think. Well, I don't know. I think just like, I think the strategic plan committee has to elect their own chair. Because like this,
Since it's
it's not in our,
ad hoc.
it's not in our bylaws that we appoint this chair. So I think they have to do it themselves.
Because it's ad hoc, correct?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think Arlene would be great, but I think when you guys meet, you should just like nominate her. Well, I think this is really good. Yeah, no, I think we covered all our bases and this will be a good group.
And we did it in 43 minutes. Congratulations, Thomas.
Yeah, this was very efficient. Last year we sat looking at this sheet for like 10 minutes before we made a move.
No, I appreciate that. Okay.
All right, so in that case, I will entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Is there a second?
Oh, I'm on mute. I second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, the motion carries unanimously. All right, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
You
Right.
got
Yeah.
everything you needed, Sam? Awesome.
Yep, I'm good to go. Thank you.
Looking forward to working with you all.
Thank you. Nice seeing you, Andrea.
And Sam.